Hey, this is Tilak. Welcome back to VBCS tutorial. In our last session, we've seen how to do a table editing. In this session, we'll see how we can create the record within the table itself. Okay, whatever I'm telling, it may not be a right way of doing it because I couldn't able to find a right way of doing it. So I did myself. I came out with my own idea. Okay, there should be a better way of doing it because this is just a kind of a workaround only. Like it's not. I know it's not right way of doing it. When I complete this tutorial, you will know that. Okay, but you understand what I'm doing here. Like what kind of logic I'm using it. Uh, Practically, whether you can use it, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's see. We get into that. Now, if you see that we are using a three information to add a record. One is the data, other one is the index, other one is a key. Okay. So when we create a record, we need a primary key. Okay. And we probably need an index, and we also need all the foreign keys. Okay. The foreign key we can add later whenever you are trying to save it. We can add that. There's no issue with that. And but you need a primary key and the index number. Okay. Now, what is happening here is uh, primary key cannot be added. The reason is primary key is added when you are saving the data. In our case, we are not saving the data. We are just adding the data into that array or a ADP. Okay, array data provider. So we have to kind of manipulate that primary key such a way that cannot be used when you are inserting the data. Okay. So I came out with my own idea again. Like, now let me get into that work, how I'm doing here. First of all, I need a kind of a counter to add a primary key. So I'm going to create a variable for that counter. Or like, you can say some kind of index variable, something. Like I'm going to create a variable called uh, page max count. Okay. Now this is the number. This is the number, and the default value I'm giving it as 1. Okay. You can also start with the 0. There's nothing wrong with that, but I have to change your logic accordingly. Okay. So I'm starting with 1. Where is the page max count is 1. Now, how do I initialize the page count variable? Okay, let me get into that action. And let me take the action of, let me close this part. Enter load the data. When you are creating, you don't need it. The reason is there's no record. Because first time you are creating a master and child, you are creating it. So there's no master, there's no child. So automatically the 1 takes a default. Okay. Now, when you are editing the record, you need the record. Am I right? So now, where are you getting your business object? Probably is this the one you are getting it? Rest in parallel. Okay, all base definition you are getting that. Okay. Now here I'm going to the assignment part. I am adding the value. What I'm adding the value is I'm taking the count from here. Whatever the count is coming, that is what I'm assigning it. The count is basically the count. Okay, if it is a 5 record, normally the index starts 0 to 4. The count says 5, it means 0 to 4. So the count is the next possible index or next possible key. Okay, now, okay, let me go and take that count here. So where is my page max count? So that is what I'm adding it here. Okay, that is fine. So expression, that is fine here. Okay. So that variable is ready. Now we will get into that page designer. We'll go to the designer. Okay. Now here I'm coming to this button, not the image. Take the button. Okay. I'm giving a event. It is probably an on-click event or OJ event. Okay, so OJ event. So okay, now I'm getting to the OJ event. Now OJ event, you are basically adding a value. Okay, before we are adding a value, I'm making sure that variables that whatever that the row variable which is I'm initializing the row variable. So what we do here is the first thing when you are coming here, I'm resetting the variable which is the row. Okay, the empty row. So what's that? That is variable page row. What's that called? Let me check the name of it. Page depth row. Okay, that is what we are doing it. So we are going here. That is called page depth row. Right. So let me find the page depth row. Just in page depth list. Actually, here they should kind of like what do you call it? You take the variable, then expand the variable. That would have been easier rather than going through every child character. Like page depth row. Okay, because like this is a row, then they should be I should be able to expand it rather than like browsing through everything. Okay, fine. Now base def row is initialized, so I got the base empty row now. Now let me do the file data movement. I'm going to add a row to that. Okay, add a row to that variable. Okay, now let me go and find the variable that is base ADP. That is what I'm going to add it. Okay, now there's a two thing I have to do. I have to also do kind of assignment here. No, okay, I'll do that assignment later. Okay, that's fine because here let me add the data first. Okay, when I'm adding a data, what I'm going to do here is let me go to add data. I'm adding a data here. So the question is, what is the index you are adding it? Are you going to add into the last index or the zero index? Either way you can do that. Okay, whichever index you are adding it, that's fine. Now let me add the index to zero index. So automatically I assume that this will basically like push down all the other rows. Okay, so this is also coming the top of the table. Okay, let me go here. What is the index I'm going to do that? I'm going to hardcode the index to zero. So basically this will add that into the index. What is the variable I'm doing it here? I'm putting that the row, what is that page def row. Page def row I'm giving this because the empty row now it is so because it is refreshed, so that is a variable here I'm giving it. Okay, so that is gone, this is gone, so I'll get the empty row here. Okay, now after this one I have to give a the row is fine. Now I have to give a kind of a key. Key is what the primary key is, that ID. Okay, now let me assign that here. Now, okay, the logic is basically we are going to use the row variable. The row basically now the empty rows created with the row, that is fine. Now we are going to use the empty row variable to add the data or edit the data. Okay, then basically row will be updated with that on the empty row. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a primary key in the empty row, not in the ADF, because that's the same thing. End of the day, when you are saving it, that is what is going to go over there. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now assign variable here. Let me assign the variable. Now I'm going to give a primary key. Now what I'm going to do here is page def row the ID. what I'm giving the ID is the maximum count. I'm giving it to the maximum count. Okay, page maximum count is there. Okay, now the practical problem what I'm going to see is when I give a count here, how do I know when I'm saving the data, I have to know what should be inserted or what should be updated. So the logic I'm going to use here is I'm going to put a -1. The ID is now goes as a -1. So whatever the IDs are, the -1, for me, make sure it is a kind of a added rows or a kind of a row should be inserted. So whichever has got a greater than equal to 0, which is to be updated. That is the logic I am using it. Okay. So now let's see. This is the ID here. Now that here. Now after that, I'm creating a one more assignment. I may be able to done here, but I'm not sure which one happens first. So like just to make sure, part I'm having a one more assign variable. I'm incrementing that row count. So I'm giving a row count plus 1. Okay. Row count to row count, max row count to row count plus 1. So this will be automatically incremented to that. So that increment is happened. Okay. Now this one, make sure the empty row is added. Okay. Now let's see. Let me get into the work. Let's see how does it happens. Okay. Statement setup. Let me go here. Let me go here. Everything is fine because we have. Okay. Let me go here. It's not interested. It's taking time. I don't know what it is. Okay. Let me add a button here. See that the empty rows added here. Okay. There's a two things not happening here. Even I don't know how to do that. Let me once let me find out how to do that. I want to move the cursor to here. One thing. Second thing, I also want to give automatically double click into that. So that I haven't learned that yet how to do that. So here basically we are going here, we are manually doing it. Now I say that my test, so let me say page. Okay. Now this is happening here, this is happening here. Okay. Now, okay, what is happening here is this is automatically added. Okay. Because the empty row, it is the end of that is going to update. I'm right, because already we created the row. Now it is going to work like update, not like just to insert into the array variable. It is going to operate like an. The only problem is when you are cancelling it. Okay, it's supposed to be, for example, I'm doing it here. I don't know. I've done the code already. I have no idea. I don't know. It's not working. For some reason, it's really slow. Okay, let me come here. That was probably gone, or that we don't have it. Why we don't have it? I have no idea. Okay. The other thing what I supposed to do here is what I haven't done. That is, let me do that part also. Do I have it? No, I don't have the. Okay, the foreign key also has to be added. Okay, now let me come here. Let me come here. Because yeah, let me get into that part. Let me also add a foreign key. Assume the foreign key is there. Okay. Now then when we insert and make sure the foreign key. Okay. Now let me go here. Okay. ID is there. No is there. Period ID. But the statement period ID. Okay. That probably we are going to take it from page of, no, that is period, that's ADP, no, statement period. Okay, this is the variable we are storing the value. We can have the variable here to person statement ID. Then we can also have a per period ID to period ID. Okay, period ID to period ID. So that is added here. Okay, so that is added. Save here. So basically, the foreign key is added. Okay. Now the one of the foreign keys when you are totally adding everything, that person statement ID may not be there. The reason is that was that ID of the parent key. So that has to be added when you are saving it again. Okay, that difference you have to have it. Now let me go and initialize the, go back here. Let me see that. Okay, let me also, before that, let me also see one thing what is happening here is, let me go to that page designer. Let me check what is happening in the add, that whenever you are saving that row. Okay, okay, action here, table edit. Let me go here and here how we are handling it. Okay, if cancel is true, database editor is happening here. If the cancel is true, what is happening here is, if the row is that ID is -1, we have to delete the row. Okay, now this is what is happening is updating it. Whenever you are like you are trying to add the record, and but that the row ID is -1, then this case you have to basically delete the part. Let me see that. How do we do that? Okay, if condition. Let me go to the if condition. I add an if condition. Okay, if row data. Okay, let me see the page depth row ID is okay, less than equal to 0. Page depth ID is less than equal to 0. Let me see. Let me understand what is happening. What we are, whether we are using a key or an index. Okay, are we? How do we handle that part? Okay, we are using the index, so we are using a key, so that is fine. So the if condition is coming here. Page, page row, page definition row ID is less than 0. So that is, in this case, it is less than 0. Okay, if it is cancel is true, okay, if it is greater than that, we are not going to do anything. Now, what are we going to do here is here basically we are deleting the data provider. Okay, data provider event. Okay. That is that ADP. That we are using ADP, and then we are removing the ADP. The index of 0. Okay, that's what we are removing it. We need to have a index is 0. Let me see. I'm not giving a data. The data I can use that data, but removing it, I don't know that we have to assign the data. But when it is asking for a data, I don't know. Let me give a data also. I don't know whether need it or not. I can. Okay, we'll see that. We come back and actually do that part. Okay. Now we are going to here. We are going to here, like refreshing the page. I'm editing this part. Okay, now adding. Okay, let me cancel. Cancel. What is happening here? No, it is not removed. This is wrong. Okay, it's supposed to be removed. Let's see, we'll give a data to that. Okay, but that is what I never understood. Why do we need to give a data? Okay. The only thing I can do here is, let me change a little bit of little differently. Probably that is probably causing the issue, I believe. Beige row, okay, beige row is data is a beige row. Okay, data. The only thing I change a little differently is, okay, create a button button action probably. That is add page, am I right? Add page button action. This assignment I'll do it before this. Okay, I can assign this variable over here. Okay, the reason is I can assign the variable which has got already has got the foreign keys and primary keys, because the data that goes inside is with the key. Okay, let me do it this way. What is happening here? Fire data, the maximum count is coming data. So basically, what we are doing here is we are assigning the data with the base definition data with all these foreign keys and the primary keys. Then we are assigning the, like, we are adding the row into the base of that ADP. Then we are doing that the count, we are increasing the count. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, now let's go and work on to that. Okay, now let me go here. Okay, now let me add the row. Okay, now let me cancel that. Okay, now that is gone. This is what we are expecting here. Okay, but the thing is, I should have, even if I canceling before that, that should happen. Okay, but okay, now that's fine. Like, this is somehow I have to, I should learn to, to push the event of the double click here. Okay, now I'm clicking that, goes fine. That is working the way you want it. Now I go my add test page. Okay, and then here, now this is added. Let me go and try to add that, save. We haven't saved the record yet. That we'll see it in another session. Okay, I could add one more record. My add, my add test 2. Okay, okay, test 2, fine. That is okay. Add test 2. That's basically is working. Whatever we, okay, you can go and change it now. Let me correct my add test 2. Okay, I'm coming here now. It is updated. See that basically that the addition part is working. Okay, in our next session we see that how do we add this data into the object, or like a table or a view object. We'll see that in our next session. Okay, if you have any questions, if anybody knows, how to do the table edit and add part, I couldn't find any kind of information on that part. There are few tutorials available for editing it, but creating a record in table rows, I couldn't find anything. If anybody knows, please let me know. That would help me too. Okay, thank you. Bye.